So after the last video, we have a pretty good idea of everything we know that's coming to the next chapter. But in the last video, for the predictions part, I left it quite brief and didn't explain deeply about some other perspective of what people online think will happen in the next chapter. Before we start, I want to thank everyone who subscribed so much, and even just watching my videos helped me out a ton. So thank you guys so much for your support. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and liking the video. Now, onto the video. I also want to mention that majority of info I got for the video is from Reddit, which could have some interesting information, and you should definitely check out my Reddit video to find out more about it. So firstly, we're actually going to talk about when is it actually going to come out, episode 3. I found this Reddit post by Find the Icons, who wrote a very detailed post that I agreed with about predictions for when chapter 3 is releasing. Going back to devlog 4 from July 16, 2023, we can see that at the time that both episodes 1 and 2 was complete, with episode 3 being finished up, and episode 3A being 10% done. This 10% done metric isn't too helpful, all things considered. Now, the original game released late March 2023, and I would assume that episode 2 wasn't being worked on at the time of release. This gives us about 4 to 5 months until episode 2 was mostly complete. After that, the original post believed that the earliest episode 3 is going to be February to April 2024, which, since this post is released 1 year ago, yeah, it definitely didn't come out then. So I believe, judging by the more recent posts and the more recent progress report by Kit9, the release date is going possibly to be sadly next year. This is because the community voted upon chapters 3 and 4 to be released together, as Leyley so wished. Obviously that is going to take longer than only episode 3, and judging by the roadmaps, I don't think a November release date will be realistic, and the earliest will be December. Now, moving on to the contents of episode 3. At the end of the last video, I mentioned about how Decay and Burial ending is going somehow to find its way to Switch. The good ending that we all believed is going to end up very badly for these two, and the bad ending might even be good. This Reddit post by All-Star Was Taken explored their idea for the next chapter. Firstly, in both branches, Ashley is losing control of Andrew and needs to figure out how to handle this. That is obvious. We know that in Decay, Ashley is trying to manipulate Andrew and even feels threatened by him. While in Burial, Ashley says, and for the first time ever, you have no idea what Andrew is thinking. Now, Decay, and I'm going to mainly quote the post with some parts edited out. Quote, "As of right now, the tensions are high. Sooner or later, Andrew will say/do something that will put Ashley in her fight or flight mindset. I believe it's going to be up to Ashley to find a way to resolve this conflict. In the previous episodes, Ashley had no intentions of trying to be a better person, and now, everything she is doing is bringing the worst out of Andrew for her gain. On the good path to a good Decay ending, Ashley's thoughts about the severity of the situation will make her want to shift to finally trying to be a good person and hopefully help Andrew bring his better self together so they can figure out how they can live the rest of their lives. While in Burial, it may not look like there are any tensions between the two, but I'm very confident that towards the end of the Burial episode there is going to be a lot of drama. There's no way this branch will play out with everything being just fine. In contrast to Decay, where the natural forces don't really need to do anything since the siblings are already struggling to like each other's presence. I see the second half of the Burial routes, the place where the tensions begin to rise, since Ashley is losing control of Andrew, and there's no way the demons is going to make things easier for Ashley. Near the end of the episode, I see something happening that will make Ashley break mentally, and I believe that this moment will play out with Ashley suddenly realizing she has lost all control of Andrew, whereas before she just assumed Andrew is manipulated by her. Either Ashley will have to learn how to trust Andrew and finally give some independence, or she just might end up always crying like she did. I personally believe this is going to be what mostly likely to happen, at least for the Burial routes in the next chapter. Because if the Burial route ends up being they loving each other this way or that, it's just too predictable. It's the good ending we all imagined, where they walk in the sunset holding each other's hand. That would be great to see, yes, but it's just too predictable. I can probably imagine an ending like that. In fact, this Reddit post describes it perfectly. Please don't let me read this. Alright, so the post written by Gnome Kangaroo 5088 is the funniest post I've ever seen. I like the detailed writing, but it's getting a bit too detailed and unrealistic. The story, or prediction, quote unquote, that this person made begins in Ashley and Andrew driving a van. Yes, a van because Andrew wants it. They want to pick up Julie and bring her to Nina's grave. Now, my dear viewer, this is where the story, how do I say this, takes in a romantic route. And for you to understand how I felt at the time, I quote from the post. Quote by Andrew. Alright, turn around and bend over against the wall a bit. Anyways, we're going a bit sidetracked here. Basically saying that this is my favorite theory and I think the most believable one. This post by Lord Quihelt, sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly, I really liked it because it's much more believable than some other Reddit posts out there. First, at least one route Andrew and Ashley will kill themselves together, in a romantic way if you catch my drift. Now we know that is a possibility because they talked about the possibility of it happening in the first chapter where they're lying on the ground discussing their future and all that. Second of all, in a non-incest burial route, Andrew and Ashley will turn against the demon, free the captured soul, and Ashley will head straight to hell using the portal that was behind the door with many eyes. Third, there will be at least one secret ending, and his guess is that Andrew and Ashley will becoming demons so they can be together forever in hell. And fourth, the shady organization that orchestrated organ trafficking is also related to demons. Ashley and Andrew are recruited as their new hitmen. Now, I think all this are quite realistic because all the progress report we've been getting is very focused on firstly the past and secondly the demon. It's the past about their school, how their lives plays out in school, and how specify on how Ashley was not liked and Andrew was quite intelligent in school, while the future with the demon shows their interaction with the demon getting further, and especially Andrew's perspective with the demon. Also, to say some things that we probably already can guess is that my guess is Julia probably isn't gonna be alive by the end of at least episode 3. Maybe she will last until 4, but I'm pretty sure they're not gonna keep her alive as we do get her perspective, or they'll just leave her alone. Second, I believe Andrew will have another dream, especially regarding his traumatic experience by killing a lot of people, including his own parents. Thirdly, I believe that we saw in the last episode at the end that the demon takes a very good interest in the burial routes of Andrew, especially even marking him on his hand, that he takes a more interest than Andrew actually instead of Ashley. And also we see that Andrew's soul is way darker than that of Ashley's, which shows that in the new chapter maybe Andrew will be forced to pick between Ashley and the demon, but that's just a theory of mine again. So after going through Reddit for the week, that was the series I found most realistic. So if you can, please leave your theory in the next episode in the comments. Make them realistic though. Majority of the ones I found in Reddit are like this or this. So if you think you have a good idea, leave it in the comments. I'll probably make another video of this just before episode 3 release to see which ones we got right. Or just make a part 2 if enough comments get through. Thank you for watching the video and please consider subscribing.